Chapter 12, starting from verse 1. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. That's all the verses we're doing today. It's a great opening of a new section of the book of Romans. See, the first 11 chapters, Paul had been building the case and making the case that not only are we all sinners, that becomes very clear in the first 3 chapters, but that it's all by grace in the ensuing chapters, and that God's not done with the nation of Israel, the people of Israel, because he's a covenant-making, promise-keeping God. And so yeah, they're cut off and their hearts are hardened, but there's a remnant still, and God will deal with them again. And so in light of all these things, he brings it back around here to Romans chapter 12. So therefore, I appeal to you by the mercies of God, because of what God has not given to us, we are to present our bodies as a living sacrifice. So the Old Testament, the Old Covenant, was based on sacrifices. And now instead of an animal, instead of a ram or a lamb, we're to offer ourselves. That's what's holy and acceptable to God. That's spiritual worship. Not just saying, oh yeah, I'm going to follow God, but wholeheartedly say, I'm all in. Offering our bodies as a living sacrifice, I think, is a continual dying to self. It's a continual surrender. It's probably something we need to do daily, if not more. And say, here I am, Lord. Today I give you my life. Today I offer my life as a vessel to be used, as a vessel for you to work in and work through. Lord, search me and try me, as the psalmist said. See if there's any wicked way in me. Why? Because we don't know our hearts. We might think we're doing all right, but we need to continually bring it before the Lord in sacrifice. Lay down our lives, lay down our desires, lay down our wishes and our wants and our dreams, so that we want nothing more than Him. We want to be set apart. We want to be acceptable to God. And so he says in verse 2, do not be conformed to this world. Don't just be like the world. Don't keep doing what the world does. Don't just go along to get along. Don't think that being well known, being well thought of by the world is something to desire. He says, be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Now there's an element that's informational about this, informative, if you will. But I think it's deeper. It's a spiritual renewal of our mind that goes beyond just knowing more scriptures. Right? You could know a lot and not be transformed. And so this renewal of our mind is connected to knowing, but it's knowing in action. And so it's knowing God's word and by the Spirit of God surrendering, so that transformation happens in our mind. So that in that we can walk in a way that's worthy. And through that, we can know God's will, the good and acceptable and perfect will. You don't have to wonder, what does God want for me? Well, He wants us to be set apart, surrendered to Him, open to what He desires in and for our lives. And through that, then there's transformation. Not just because we're studying more, but we're surrendered more. And we're testing and discerning the things that are going on around us, the information we have, and our lives are wrapped up in Jesus. I think that's the message. It's not a once a week thing. It's not a check-in kind of thing. It's every day, all the day, 24/7, living for Jesus. Here I am, Lord. Use me. Here I am, Lord. Mold me, shape me. Spiritual act of worship. Till next time, keep growing, little by little.